Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
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 Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
So, here we are in the moment, this moment. And in this moment, I invite you to breathe in, to take a deep breath, the breath of life, just breathing in. And as your lungs become full, I invite you to exhale, letting go, releasing, breathing in. breathing in to be in this moment. Breathing in to feel the life force of the divine. And then exhaling. And exhaling a little more. And give it another push to let go any resentment. Let go of anything you've been holding on to. Let go. Pushing that old air out. Releasing. Releasing. As we let go and bring in that fresh air, feel the divine living you as you live the divine. Feel the divine order of the universe active in your life. In the timelessness, the gods convene to become molecules and memories. There is only one of which all else is composed. We are consciousness. We are all consciousness in its unconscious form. And yet, in this time and place and space, we have the opportunity to awaken. Buddha says that it takes eons to be wholly born, for this purification to drop the veils, defeat the hindrances, and then to enter into a deeper and deeper truth. And yet, it takes only an instant. Only an instant. To be in that truth, to be in the awareness. So I invite you into that truth. Into the awareness. Into the silence. Wherever you are in this moment, recognize the divine there with you. Wherever you are in this moment, feel the truth. Wherever you are in this moment, trust trust in truth. For indeed, in this moment, we are holy, we are whole, we are blessed, and we are a blessing. So we celebrate this blessing, and we allow our hearts to fill with gratitude. We allow our hearts to fill with gratitude for the love that is shared in this room, for the peace that overcomes us as we sit in this room. And it is with gratitude that we return to this time and space. So it is. Amen and amen. Good morning. It's wonderful to see each and every one of you here as our Unity singers prepare for some music. I just want to say it's lovely to see your faces. Thank you for being here.
Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. Though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they may see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on till tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
indeed, let it be. Well, I know that for many women, you have spent your entire adult life trying to live up to some standard in mothering that is set back in the 31st chapter of Proverbs, saying that women can do it all. And even if you're a man, I know you've been living up to that, oh, let me do it all right, let me be perfect in all that I do. And then you go into that place of permanent residence of, I can't quite measure up to it all. Anybody in here ever, I can't measure it up to it all? So I want to introduce to you some of the mothers of the Bible. And one of the things that we know about the Bible is it's our story. If we look at it metaphysically, it is our story. And sometimes we can't see it. We think, how is that even possible? Because I would never, ever think that way or be that or do that. But if we just begin to make that bit of a tweak, I think that we can see how it is that these stories are about us and about that maybe we haven't done, but somebody we know has lived from that place. So let's just start out with Eve, the very original mother. So she was the mother of Cain and Abel and Seth and a number of others. Well, actually, we might even say she's our mother. She's the mother of all of us. So that means, indeed, all of the good things that have happened and, well, maybe that not so nice things she's been a part of too. So I just want to look at this for she really made some of those mind-blowing mistakes, did she not? I mean, the first thing was that she was tempted. She was tempted by that she was told not to do. Oh my, how often we receive guidance, we know the truth, we feel the truth, and we become tempted by that chatter in our minds. I get that chatter from potato chips and Fritos myself. It's all right, you can go ahead and eat them. I know that they're not the best for me. Oh, not to worry. So we have that place within us where we listen and we allow ourselves to be tempted. And so Eve really did it. Now, maybe she was the only one that remembered where the apple was located or the fruit, the forbidden fruit, was located. So she was the one that went and tried it out. I doubt that was the case, but you know how women always know where things are. Mothers always know where things are, right? Especially when we don't know, moms know. That's still true for me. So she was tempted. She allowed herself to be tempted, and she knew that she was in a place where she didn't want to be. And she was outcast from the garden, from that place of peace within her mind. How often do we get thrown out of the garden of peace within our minds? Then we have Sarah. Sarah was the mother of Isaac. She was the mother that waited until the very last moment. She was on the mommy track from early on because she was told, well, her husband was told, that he would have a very important child and that he would be the father of the many nations. And Sarah did not conceive and did not conceive. Now, don't you know, she went into that place of not good enough. Not enough, like we all do when we think that we should be able to do something and we can't. So we decide we'll take matters into our own hands, as she did. And she asked her handmaiden, Hagar, to please carry a child for her. Well, that happened, but it wasn't the child that had been promised. It was not the child that was going to make a difference in the world. And so very late in life, she had her child that made a difference in the world. But for a moment, she forgot. And even when it was told to her at a very late age she would have this child, she laughed. How often do we laugh? How often do we laugh at God's will for us? How often do we laugh when we know that we're out of tune with the truth, with a capital T, with principle, divine principle? And we have Rebecca. Rebecca was the mother of Jacob and Esau. And, well, many of us have been tempted to play favorites, not only with our children, but with other people in the world, recognizing that if we just put our attention over here and leave this one aside, that we'll have what we want. So she was willing to lie, deceive, create that energy of untrust with her husband so that her son could be the one to receive the blessing. You know, Jacob, whose name means trickster, was just separated by moments. And yet, here he was with a mom that was willing to go to a great length to manipulate. So we might look at how we manipulate, or how we're manipulated, how we allow ourselves to be manipulated. It's kind of a question that we can look at and see and determine if this is where we want to be, if we are in principle at that moment. And then we have Bathsheba. Now, she starts to bring a turn because she has David. However, she has him, and she's willing to have her husband die so that she can live this life that she really wants to have. So she has her husband killed in the battle so that Solomon can be raised with this wisdom that David wants as well. So this happens, and Solomon turns into the wisest man and brings about change that is needed. And then we have Jochebed, and she's the mother of Aaron and Moses, and she's an incredible woman. And just in case this was starting to feel a little dark for you, she's a woman who is willing to let go of that she loved so dearly. She was willing to let go of her son, to put him in a basket in the reeds, in the bushes, so that he could live. Now, how many of us are willing to take the step that she took to allow her son to be in that basket, to be alive and well, so that he could do what was his to do, which was to lead the children out of the wilderness into the promised land, to the promised land. Not into it, but to it. So this was an important woman who was willing to give up something she loved dearly to follow God's direction and instructions. She was willing. Are we willing to look past our personalities to be in principle with God? And then we have Mother Mary. Mary, the mother of Jesus, who received angelic visitations and qualified for listening and being willing to live God's will for her. So as you can imagine, this young woman with an unwanted pregnancy, or at least an unplanned pregnancy, to face the challenges that she faced when she did, to go ahead with this, to move forward, to marry this man who also received divine guidance. So the two of them were willing to experience the gift of the birth of Jesus, the gift of a birth from heaven. And, you know, one of the important things to look at is, even though her birth was perhaps looked at as questionable, she birthed beauty and grace and a child that came into the world to make a difference, regardless of the birth circumstances. Children bring beauty into the world. And Mary brought this beauty and peace into the world in the beauty of a baby that she named Jesus, as she was directed to do. Can you imagine? Here she is raising this young man. She had to soothe him. She had to bathe him. She had to feed him. When he was a teenager, he was a little rebellious. He stayed out in the back in the temple. And when asked where he was, it's like, oh, don't worry about me. I'm back here learning. So maybe he was a little more typical than we want to imagine. But he was doing the important thing that he was to do, which was to learn. And then we have Mary, who was, well, a little pushy. At that first wedding, when she told Jesus to turn some water into wine, or to create some wine, he was like, that's not mine to do. I don't want to be about that. She turned to the servant. She said, bring the water for him. So she even nudged him and pushed him into that place. And so it is that we have all these different pieces within us that bring us to our fulfillment, into being at peace and in one-ment with the divine, with divine principle versus personality. So personality can separate us, and principle can unite us. Charles Fillmore says that personality is a veil or a mask worn by man that conceals the real, the spiritual, the I am. And it is to shatter the mask to reveal the Christ, to be the truth of who we are. Personality is the atom. Personality is what we think we are in the three-dimensional world. But when we go into that fourth dimension, when we go into the unseen, we go into principle. So we can't hold on to principle. We can't see it. We can't claim it as ours. We can only be it. We can only live it in our beingness. So, truth self is to be in principle. Truth self is to, as Thomas Jefferson says, to be in matters of style, swim with the current. To be in matters of principle, stand rock-like. So to be in principle is ours to stand rock-like. To be in principle is to be consistent. So Stephen Covey says that there's three things that are consistent in life, and that is change, choice, and principle. Change, choice, and principle. So we can always change things, we can always choose things, and we can always stand in principle. And that is what we are to do. That is what we're about. It's to be in principle, to be in the fullness and the wholeness of who we are. So I invite you this day as you leave to think about, are you in principle? Are you in personality? Are you seeing the many veils that other people wear? Are you looking at yourself as the veil that you wear? Are you seeing truth? That is broken, that is removed, that is. Yesterday, we had 2 expressions of life here. And one of the things that I realized as I listened to the life stories was that we talked about the principle of the person. We talked about the beauty, the life force that was in their eyes and the smiles that were on their face and the beauty that radiated. We didn't talk about how many cars or how much stuff they had. We talked about the principles of who they were. So I invite you to think about it, to be about it, to question and look within and see if you're willing to stand always in the rock on the rock. God bless you.
Simple act of love, nothing takes me higher. Take away the pain, grown of selfish desire. No matter what we try, no matter what seems taken,